I didn't know what to expect. Actually, when I got to boot camp, I was like, what the hell did I just do? My brother had mentioned that I should be a Navy SEAL, and I'm like, well, I should be a combat photographer. That would be really cool. For many, many years, I've been like survival training, and my dad taught me how to, outdoors all my life, and so I thought that would be really cool to be like a specialist in, survival. When I wanted to be one, I wanted to say that I was a Navy SEAL. So yeah, that's one of the main reasons I joined too. It's like opportunity to keep up with technology, because I was a freelance photographer, and I was working 3 or 4 different jobs. I was working at Life Touch photo agency, photographing senior portraits. I was doing an internship with this digital lab. I was working for Wolf Camera, and I was also working at a R&B photo agency doing all night photo touch-ups. So there's been many years that I haven't been sleeping because I was working so many jobs just to have a house in Buckhead in Atlanta, Georgia is kind of the premier place to be. And I'm younger, and I'm doing the bar scene, so I'm trying to maintain a lifestyle that was way above my means. But that's when I was trying to keep up with the technology, and I knew it was going to go digital. I could see the whole trends. Plus, I was buying camera systems that were way beyond my means on credit cards. So the Navy was kind of like a two-pronged reason, because it could keep me up to date with the technology. I travel the world, so really it's 3, and be able to build the portfolio, and then also to become a Navy SEAL. I thought would be so cool. So when I got to boot camp, I was going through the SEAL challenge, and I got real bad shin splints while I was doing it, and I ended up doing cryptotherapy, which is ice therapy, and the pain was so bad that I just couldn't take it. So basically, my start to be a Navy SEAL ended real fast. In the Navy, designations are rates, and the rates are, jobs, if you want to try to correlate it with the civilian world. Just like a photographer is a PH, which is a photo mate. That's the rate. That's the one I wanted. And they didn't have any open billets, which means they didn't have a job opening. They told me on designated I could go to Japan. They're like, we got plenty of billets in Japan. You can go on an aircraft carrier, and with your background and with your degrees, you can, more than likely you'll be a photo mate real fast. And when you go undesignated and attached to an aircraft carrier, you're going to be on the air department, which air department handles all the aircraft that land on the ship. I was on the USS Kitty Hawk. One of the greatest experiences of my life was I'm kind of getting screwed because I wanted just to be a photographer's mate. So the first 2 years, I'm on an aircraft carrier, chalk and chaining big, planes landing on they're landing right in front of me. Then I was a tractor driver. I was an elevator operator. I was a Ouija board, which is actually miniatures of all the aircrafts. I did that for a little while in the handler area, which he handles all the flight, how the flight patterns are going. And then I became a yellow shirt because I was more mature. I think I was older than most of the sailors that on the air department. So they sent me back to the States from Japan to go to LSE school, which is Landing Signalman Enlisted. And I did that for like 2 months, came back, and I was qualified as a landing signalman. I stood underneath the helicopters all day directing them, where to go, come left, come right, whatever, go back. And then I also became Fly 1, which is towards the bow of the ship, directing aircrafts around. So here I am, like, doing really good at aircraft carrier stuff on the flight deck. And in the same time, I always had a camera underneath my float coat. And I would actually go down to the photo lab and get them to print out my stuff, or actually just do my film for me. And they were noticing that I was getting good photos. Ensign McClellan at the time recognized it, and he was like, and I told him, I was like, they won't let me get the bibs for PH, and basically they're trying to pigeonhole me into just being a air department, an Airedale the whole time. And he's like, well, listen, I'll try and get you the books, and if you make if you make it on the test, I'm gonna put you in charge of the flight deck. It was funny because one day I'm in a yellow shirt, directing aircraft. The next day I'm in a green shirt. I mean, it was literally next day, and I'm in charge. I'm in charge of the flight deck photography, and it was awesome. Making Photographer's Mate, and I don't know if it was me showing off, but it was like one of those times to where you've waited. It's kind of like Olympic skater or something. You've waited all your life for this moment to shine, and that's exactly how it felt. It was so much time, so many lies, it felt like, and just to do what I know I'm good at. And so the first day, I actually, my first shot, I shot 3 or 4 frames of it, made a cover of a magazine. And we were in the middle of responding after 9/11. That's when I advanced, when we were on our way to Iraq, to the Mediterranean. But up to that point, I had been frustrated with the Navy and making that choice to join the Navy. I hadn't made the SEALs. It took me forever to become a PH. Yes, I had fun in Japan, but I knew where my focus was. It's always been photography and journalism. And I felt like I was being pulled in a different direction. But I remember that moment when that happened. I was like, this is bigger than me. I feel great to be part of this. It's when I really fell in love with the Navy, with my choice to become a sailor. It is nothing like really feeling like you're part of something.